To get the most out of the Hockey Ultimate Team fantasy event, you are going to need to complete the fantasy moments, and they are extremely difficult. Now, EA went and lowered the difficulty after the initial release, but it doesn't really change anything that a lot of these are some of the hardest that you're going to have to do. So I thought I'd put together a video on how I was able to complete them and hopefully allow you guys to get the last 4 collectibles you need to make a second account-bound fantasy item or to pool everything together to go after the one of your choice. Let's get into it. Now, like I said, these fantasy hockey moments are extremely difficult, and they are difficult on purpose. EA knows that these last 4 moments, all containing fantasy hockey collectibles, are going to be some of the most sought-after cards and collectibles that we're going to get all year. So, to start things off with Brady Skjei, Devon Toews, Jamie Benn, Chris Letang, and even Matthew Barzal, you should be able to complete these very passively. Brady Skjei getting hits, again, on semi-pro. This is going to be pretty self-explanatory. Same thing with Devon Toews and getting 8 passes. Jamie Benn getting 10 shots on nets. When it comes to the shot blocks with Chris Letang, what I would recommend is in the select jersey screen, all you've got to do is click in the left thumbstick. You actually want a player lock for the block shot missions. You'll select right defense. That'll give you Chris Letang. And the reason why you want to do that is because you can just stay back in your zone, give the puck up, and then just look to sit in front of your goaltender and let the shots just come in. If you hit L1, you'll go down in a crouch block, making it a little bit easier. You just want to keep giving the puck back to the CPU, and eventually you'll be able to get this one done. Now, Barzal is the first moment that people might struggle with because he is on the pro difficulty, but you just have to get points with Barzal. You can fly down the boards. He has good enough speed. Again, this one shouldn't take you a lot of time. The other ones are going to be far more difficult. So let's start things off with Oliver Bjorkstrand. You've got to get 2 goals in 1 2-minute period on pro. All right, so now for the Bjorkstrand moment, I need to make things very clear. There is going to be some luck required in all of these moments, not just this one. You are going to need partial breakaways or shots to go off of bodies. There's just going to be moments that, in order to get this completed, you absolutely need to take advantage of some luck that's been given to you. Now, one of the things you definitely need to take advantage of is anytime that you get a breakaway in any of these moments. There's a couple moves that you need to know, and if you have to go into practice mode to make sure you get it down pat first, that's fine. One of them is the backhand, forehand, backhand, or the forehand, backhand, forehand, depending on the side of the net you're on. And my first goal in the time that I was able to complete the Bjorkstrand moment, again, just a partial break, kind of broken, and I was able to get in tight enough with Bjorkstrand to go backhand, forehand, backhand. The one thing about Bjorkstrand as well is that his shot attributes are very low, and he's just low overall in general. So you need to get in close. You're not going to be able to just fire home those low far side wristers for the most part because his shot attributes just aren't high enough. So you really have to take advantage of getting in close to the goaltender. And while you may not be able to replicate a breakaway with Bjorkstrand, I just want to highlight this because this is going to be important for any of the other moments as well. You need to make sure that you 100% know the move to score when on a breakaway. All right, now when it comes to scoring in these moments, this is going to be the main goal that you're going to want to do for almost all of them, especially Bjorkstrand, because like I mentioned, his skating and shot is just not high enough to beat most of the AI. In any situation you can, you want to get behind the net and it's simply come out on the front, curl back to your backhand side and go all the way around, and it's a backhand on the far side, and you're going to want to spam this over and over again. This is the main way to score during these moments. Again, you don't really have the horses in a lot of them to actually just straight up beat the goaltender. Now, the AI defense will play you pretty strong, and you're going to get frustrated doing this over and over again, but I promise you, this is the one move that you can replicate constantly to give you the best and fastest chance at getting this succeeded. All right, so up next, you've got 2 assists with Jared Spurgeon. And again, you've got 1 2-minute period to get it complete. And unfortunately, you're trailing 3-0, so you're not going to be able to get the benefit of the goalie pull. All right, so a couple of philosophies here. In any of these moments when you have a very good player that is also on the team, so for instance, Kirill Kaprizov and using his base card, he's quite quick, and you're going to want to utilize him when it's any situation where you have to get an assist and you don't need to score with that specific player. You want to use the good players available. Now, like I mentioned in the Bjorkstrand moment, you're randomly going to get breakaways throughout this moment's grind. I get one with Jake Middleton, who notably is not a great goal scorer or offensive player at all. And again, same move. Backhand, forehand, backhand, and it's going to beat a lot of the AI goaltenders that are cheating over to the side. Now, after you've done a rush with Kaprizov and you start into the zone and you haven't been able to score, so now you're cycling, you really just want to force feed D to the one-timers and make sure that Spurgeon touches the puck first. But anytime that you get an opportunity to drive to the net, again, that same move, either backhand, forehand, or forehand, backhand, forehand, on the side of the net is going to be your go-to. And for this instance here, I was able to get it with Zuccarello and had a clear path to the net, and I was able to get my 2 assists pretty easily. All right, next up, we've got 3 points with Brayden Schenn on All-Star, and you've got 1 2-minute period to get it done. This one was, for me, the hardest one. After like 30 minutes of failing all of my attempts, one of the things that I started to notice was that, again, like I mentioned, you want to use any of the good players that are in your lineup because the fantasy cards are not statted very well, including Brayden Schenn. So Kyrou is a card that you want to carry the puck with whenever you're doing a rush. Now, the first point here, I just get it to Schenn and we clang away at it in the slot, and somehow, again, same situation, backhand, forehand, backhand, but some of these are just going to require luck, so that was my first one. Now, in a lot of these moments, when you get 1 point early on, you want to burn your timeout because the energy of these cards drains so fast. You really need to get that energy back, so make sure that you're taking your time out, because if you score late or score early on, you are going to burn a lot of the time if you're waiting for your player to get back to full health. Okay, next up, much like the backhand, forehand, backhand, which does work when you are in tight if the goaltender is overcommitting to the left or right, the stride deke is a move that you need to learn in NHL 26. It has always been effective, but in NHL 26, it is the absolute go-to move against the AI goaltender, and it will take some getting used to because it's kind of awkward. You're doing it all with one hand. Essentially, how to do it is you let go of the left thumbstick so you enter a glide. You hold down the LB or L1 button on PlayStation 5. While holding it down, you then move the left stick left or right, depending on the way you want to stride, and then you let go of L1 and you can shoot. Getting good at being able to enter into a glide for a half second and then doing it is what's going to be paramount here. And for these moments, I 100% recommend that everyone go into the practice mode and learn how to do the backhand, forehand, backhand, as well as the stride deke. This isn't going to just help you for these moments. This is going to be a way that you score online and in squad battles. So definitely something that you need to learn for this game. And the last goal, again, like I mentioned, you take advantage of the good players that you've got in each moment. You can burn down the boards with Kyrou in this moment, and one of the easiest goals to score, again, is to just get past the defender, and on the backhand or forehand, cut into the middle and go on the far side. Because you don't need to score with Brayden Schenn in this one, like I mentioned, you want to utilize Kyrou as much as possible. Now on to the Brendan Gallagher moment. This is 3 goals with Brendan Gallagher on Superstar, and you have 1 2-minute period to do it. This has been the hardest one for a lot of the player base. I get a ton of comments and questions about it. I hate to be that guy. I randomly got it done in my first try. Don't ask me how. Let's go over the way that I was able to complete it, because it does show off some of the things that you need to be doing in every single moment and go over some of the tactics that you can just repeat nonstop. Now, right off the rip, take advantage of a one-timer anytime that you have a skill-based one-timer opportunity, and I'm able to just hammer it with Gallagher in the first, 30 seconds. I will say this, if you can't get at least one in the first 10 minutes of game time, you should just restart. Getting 3 goals is pretty difficult, so if you can't do it in the first 10 minutes, so if you can't get one in the first 10 minutes, I would just simply restart. But again, a skill-based one-timer in this situation is not going to be very common or something that you can replicate. This, however, is 100% a goal that you can replicate. Again, I showed it to you earlier in some of the other moments, but it's just get on the backhand, go all the way around, and sometimes there is going to be a defender there and it's just going to get stuffed. But if you just keep doing it over and over again, you will eventually get a few opportunities each game, and it's just aim it far side on the backhand, you'll get it. Like I said earlier, this Gallagher one was kind of scuffed. You probably will have one of these moments where you get done quickly, randomly. Gallagher does have quick release, so he does have the ability to snipe upstairs, and I was just able to take advantage of it here. Try and pick left or right corner because of that quick release ability. And now, finally, on to Taylor Hall. 3 goals with Taylor Hall on Superstar. When I was doing this, you only had 1 minute, which was psychotic, but this has been increased. The Taylor Hall one is interesting because the card is actually pretty decent, but for whatever reason, it's just a heck of a time trying to score with him. So let's go over how I was able to do it. Now, something I want to point out is a lot of these moments, if you are able to tie up the game and go to overtime, the actual player that's required to get the goal or point with won't be in the lineup in overtime. This is like a known issue that they need to figure out a way on how to fix. But the Taylor Hall one specifically is interesting. Anyone that requires a goal, shootout goals count. So after a ton of attempts here, I was able to get within one, and I just scored a third goal with Seth Jarvis to tie it up. I went into overtime and I just burned out the clock entirely and then went to the shootout. It is the most intense, nerve-wracking thing you're going to do in this game, and I've been almost automatic in my time on breakaways this year. However, I absolutely scuffed it, and I failed my attempt at doing this, but I know a lot of people that have gotten their third goal via the shootout. Now, a really good move to take advantage of the AI defense is to wait for your streaking winger to just get by the defender, and if you weave left and right at the top of the zone, you're more than likely going to be able to do so. I was able to get that here, and then like I've showed you throughout this entire video, forehand, forehand, again, depending on the side that you're going to, and that was my first goal on my successful attempt at the moment. Now, right off the next face-off, again, utilize Taylor Hall. He is one of the best cards that has come from the fantasy event currently. He is the fastest card. So if you weave left and right around the defenseman, you're going to be able to burn them as long as you have energy. I do that here, exact same goal on a breakaway, and now I've got 2 goals in the first 4 minutes. Now, don't forget to take your time out, and this got very close to being another failed attempt. But in the final seconds, I was able to get a 2-on-1. 2-on-1s are just like they are online. You can usually just tap them in, and Taylor Hall was able to tap one in on a 2-on-1, and I was able to complete the moment in just 1 minute of game time with the slow minute, obviously. Now, again, for anyone that is struggling trying to beat the defender or the AI, you can do the same thing that you were having to do with all the other slower players from the fantasy event. Just get behind the net, hold the backhand, and go all the way around and shoot far side. That will work just as well. So I hope that helps you get some of these moments done to get the Final Fantasy collectibles for the event. If you have any questions, make sure you come check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/nosleeps12. I'll be sure to help you out. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.